Hello and welcome to Different Perspectives. I'm Paul Ndiho in Washington. Ghana is becoming a launchpad for Africa's digital future, from AI lessons in local languages to students building robots for food security, to Ghana preparing teams for the world stage in Geneva. This country is making a serious bet on technology and as a development strategy. On March 27th, students from across Ghana will compete at the Robotics for Good Youth Challenge. Ghana at the International School, a national qualifier for the AI Good Global Summit in Switzerland. The mission is very clear: use robotics and artificial intelligence to solve real problems, starting with food security. But the challenges are just so real. Unequal access, shortages of ICT labs, and fears about AI replacing most jobs. Tonight, we ask the big question: can Ghana build a tech-powered future without leaving its young people behind? And of course, joining me are three distinguished leaders in this space. Douglas Aiti, founder and CEO of The Maker's Place. Audrey Tete, a global ambassador at Women Tech. And Emanuela Moses, aka Ella, one of the former students and now also a global ambassador of tech based here in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Different Perspectives.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's thank you so much for being on this platform. I've not interacted with the two ladies, so maybe since I've not interacted with the two ladies, I'll let them set the stage, then I come back to you, Douglas. So let me start with Audrey. Set the stage for us. What does tech mean? What does this AI strategy for Ghana mean for young ladies like you going forward?
Definitely. Thank you very much for the question. To me, I believe technology is important, given in the kind of like generation we are in. It's just making work easier, better, faster. So it's doing the same things, which is, our daily lives. But how could we, strategize ways to make these things better? And that's why we have different, devices that have been brought through the ages to help us achieve, the work we want to achieve. So that's in technology sense. And looking at now AI, which is artificial intelligence. Now, what we're doing is that we're trying to make already these technologies, much smarter, much better, and optimized to help us make these decisions. Because initially, would have to program these devices or these tools we had in the past to do whatever we had to do. It couldn't really think on its own. But now what is happening is that AI is coming using based off previous data or what has been fed into it. Now it can inform decisions and could help us make our work easier. It could give us predictions ahead of time to help us, in whatever we want to do. And which is a great thing to leverage when we are looking at the kind of generation we're in, less work, but, faster results so we can do more. And so I think AI and technology and development is essential. We see all, in the global scope, most countries taking it up, and we're seeing the improvements, we're seeing the advancement in every single industry. And so this is a good thing for us bringing this on board, and for Ghanaians and even ladies taking this app, given that we could use these tools and help ourselves in whatever aspect or area of life we find ourselves. So.
Very interesting perspective there. Ella, let me come to you. This new global or AI strategy for Ghana speaks to you directly. You've been involved in this space. You've participated in a lot of competitions. You are incredibly talented in what you do. What can you tell us about how Ghana is going with this new strategy, especially for a young lady like you?
Okay, so I believe that Ghana is going in a very strong direction. They're pushing for a lot of students like me, especially younger students, to get more involved into tech. In my school, it's not only Douglas that I met a whole lot of other robotic teams who wanted and really pushed for these kids to get used to using robots, get used to using AI, programming languages. And I see that Ghana is really invested in their youth going into robotics, going into AI. And also, if they do very well in that area, if they were to go out into the world, it would really benefit not just the youth themselves, but it will also bring light into Ghana that it's not just one random African country. It's a country with strong individuals who are pushing for innovation as well. So I see it has been a very good impact, and it's good.
Douglas, you and I have met a couple of times. We've been talking about AI, we've been talking about robotics. You've been teaching young people how to do all these things. Now, to courtesy to you and some of the other players in this space, Ghana has seen what you guys are doing, and they are trying to encourage more people to do it. Maybe start by telling us what you do at Maker's Place, and then tell us how this strategy for Ghana falls into play with the kind of work that you are doing.
All right. Thank you. It's always good to speak to you. At Maker's Place, we are democratizing technology for young people to make sure that at every point in time, they are not left out in terms of technology. Young people should have access to the tools that they need in order to be globally competitive. And Maker's Place is at the forefront of that, supporting young people, children as young as 5 years to 18 years are getting used to programming. They are building innovation and taking part in other national and international challenges. Now, if you look at the pace at which Ghana is moving towards AI strategy, developing AI policies and strategies, I think it's in the right direction. I have been involved in the development of AI curriculum for Ghana, especially for the TBET schools, right from um, high school to um, HND or diploma. So I've been involved at the national level, supporting the development of curriculum that will shape the next generation of students to develop tools that will make life more easier, right? And if we look at the pace at which AI is changing how we work and live, it's something that we cannot leave our young people behind. Therefore, Makers Place, together with our partners, is making sure that not only students are being empowered, but teachers as well are receiving the skills and the knowledge that they need in order to help scale to the level where everybody will feel more inclusive.
Uh, you know, uh, the country is focusing on teaching AI in some of the local languages, pushing this kind of innovation across the country because not every young person or everybody has access to the language that we are speaking, English. Some people understand better using their local languages. How do we make sure that people from the poorest schools or poorest communities benefit from this resource that the government is putting in place?
Okay, so calls like this are in the right direction because we're talking about inclusivity. We want to make sure that no one is left behind. And, language is one of the key barriers that prevent a lot of people from realizing their potential. So if AI can help people uh, translate their culture, their values, their norms, and also to other people to learn, I think is the right thing. Otherwise, if we have not taken this bold step by making sure that we convert our languages, then another third party will sponsor other people. If it's not a government of Ghana's initiative, then what will happen is that private individuals will move around villages and communities and talk to people and collect that data and changes our culture and everything. Then now that it's a national thing from the government, what is going to happen is it's going to be well structured, well coordinated to make sure that facts are being recorded and not falsehood. Because in the next decade, what is going to happen is that young people are going to Google everything. They are going to search on the future, on the culture, the norms and traditions. And if you don't take care, if wrong information are being put out there, that is what they are going to consume. So I think that it's a bold step from the government that needs to be embraced by all. And it's not only languages. I'm sure there are other things that government is also taking key interest in, and this is good for Ghana.
Audrey, you have been at the forefront of trying to champion this. You've spoken at different forums, you are the good ambassador, I would say, trying to speak about some of what Ghana is doing. How can young girls who are watching you benefit from this program? What is it that they need to do to become like you?
Um, so definitely to be I wouldn't say become like me because like everyone is different, but to be able to get to the peak of things and in the area of tech or wherever it is, I believe that it's looking for the opportunities available and then learning skills, right? So definitely, like we said, the government is looking for it to like place out some of these initiatives, and so it's like how could I participate in some of these things, and once you participate in these skill development, usually there are definitely projects and things you're going to work on. Now this kind of gives you the exposure, and once you see the impact of which this is taking you, you want to bring others involved. So it's starting from yourself, learning these skills, and then having people on board, sending the good message to like family, friends, like about what AI is doing, what technology is doing, learn these skills, and then they also apply that to projects, and that way we can see the development. And so such a great initiative is something I'll encourage people to participate in or to enroll or take courses online that would lean them in that direction.
Uh, Ella, I wanted you to maybe to talk to me about access versus excellence. You have been lucky to learn from some of the best. You have gone ahead to do this at your own. You are out there representing Ghana. There are so many young people in villages who are left out. What can they do to tap into this platform? What can they do to learn from the likes of Douglas, just like you and other people have done?
Okay, so uh, there are a lot of things, but I would say pay very close attention. In terms of access, you should push very hard. Make sure that you find every possible means to get access to maybe somebody like Douglas. Call somebody, go to a internet center, travel. Just find every possible method to do it, because the only way you can do that is if you give up, and there's always a way through. So you should never give up. That's what I'm saying. Because when I was little, there was a part of me that was like, "Hey, this big thing with all these adults, can I do something that these adults are doing?" But I'm saying that if you push hard enough and you truly believe that you have the capabilities to do it, you can do it. It is a skill. It is not a skill can be learned. It's not something that everyone is supposed like it's not something that everyone is just born with. You can learn it. And so you should always force to learn it. Yeah.
Douglas, uh, from doing my research and from looking at some of the things that you've been doing, there is a lot of talk about food security, using technology in that space, using robotics or robots into coming up with tools that are going to be helpful when it comes to agriculture or food security. And of course, this year's competition, uh, the Robotics for Good challenge focuses on food security. Why is agriculture the right testing ground for AI and robotics in Ghana?
All right, thank you. Makers Place, as an organization, spearhead different programs, and one of them is AI AI for Good Youth Challenge, or Robotics for Good Youth Challenge, which is under ITU, and we took part in the maiden edition. Makers Place is the national organizer for Robotics for Good Youth Challenge, so we organized the first competition in Ghana, which was centered on disaster response. And anytime a child is learning robotics, I think one of the key fundamental things is to is one, automation, right? Is to how do you make boring stuff, right, or automate boring stuff. So when the children begins to learn how to code, they learn how to use machines, then they say, okay, if I want to cook, how do I make machine to help me to do that? If I want to clean my room, how do I build a robot to do that? If I want to turn on my light without standing up, how do I do it? So that's the automation bit of it. And if you look at what is happening around the world, I think you know that food security is one of the key things that are important, that global leaders are paying attention to. And this year, the team came from ITU, International Telecommunication Union of United Nations. So moving from disaster response to um, agriculture or food security. I think Ghana did very well last year. Globally, we were third, right? We were third. The team that won that did that performance was my Redeemer School from Soto. But then moving forward, now we have food security. This competition will be held at Ghana International School on the 27th of March 2026. And a lot of teams from senior high school, primary school are taking part. To be able to be part of this competition, you need to be between the ages of 10 to 13 years for junior category, and then 14 to 18 years for senior category. Now, the niche is, how do you use a robot, or how do you build a robot to be able to um, help in irrigation, help in food. Sometimes when fruits are ripe, right? You need to make sure that you need to plug it, right? But you need a machine to be able to do that. You don't have to use humans to do that. It causes delay and all other things. How do you train a model to be able to identify that this is a ripe fruit, this is unripe fruit, this is a rotten fruit? Okay, so these are some of the things that children as young as 10 years are learning, to build a machine using sensors to be able to identify this. Now, when the crops need to be irrigated, right, how do you do it such that you are able to sense the water level or the soil level, whether it is moist or dry, and then also start the pump automatically to be able to water the plants, right? These are some of the things that students as young as 10 years to 18 years are taking part in this challenge, and they are learning how to use an AI to train the model to be able to identify each of these challenges and solve them. So it's a good thing that is happening. And this competition is not only in Ghana, it's happening in so many African countries, including Europe, South America, North America, and Asia as well. And all these countries About 50 countries will be meeting in Geneva in July to take part in the global challenge again. So it's a big opportunity for everyone.
Uh, Audrey and Ella, to build up on what Douglas is saying, if I heard him correctly, he seems to suggest that I think we are moving away from coding to building tangible things. For example, those robots that are able to do things. Uh, and this can be seen maybe across the world. I see more people going into that space where they're building robots. Take for example, I'm using an AI tool to automate some of these things because I would need like 2 or 3 producers to produce this show. But I figured out how to use one of those AI tools that does it for me. Now, what does that mean for a young person, a young student in whether in Accra, in Kumasi, in Tamale, in Takoradi? What does that mean for young people who want to get into this space? And maybe Audrey and Ella can take a shot at it.
Sure, definitely. It is a good thing to know and hear because it means that we can get some things done. Like Douglas was saying, instead of having humans or people to do certain things in the past, we can now just sit back and then control or have another machine do it, which is the robot in this case. And so this is a great thing and a great tool. Like going forward in the future, it means that if we're using these tools in our daily works, we're going to see improvements. And I feel like this is going to help, Ghana in places where, in where we have like infrastructure deficits, so we can build upon those things and then match up to the development, in these advanced countries. Because what is making them where they are is more of their technologies and automation, meaning that we could reduce the time load because like if it's to harvest or to do certain things, you may need like 2 3 people, five, and then it's going to take you a long time. But now we can get that load done quickly and then focus on bigger projects, and this overall would help boost like our revenue, government, everything. And so to me this is a great initiative and thing happening, which is AI and technology. And I believe young people could take advantage of this and then utilize it in their everyday work or operations.
Ella, I want you also to weigh in, but before you weigh in, when I've talked to a lot of young people out there, they talk about lack of access, lack of resources, or places where they can sit down and learn these skills. From your perspective or from your experience, what can you tell those people? What places are there where these young people can go learn some of these things?
Okay, so what I would say right now is, like, as now that I've grown older, I see that there are more places being built currently. So what I would say would help a lot is research. Research is a very big thing, I would say. And if you have access to the internet or anything like that, you can use YouTube. YouTube is also a very good resource. And there's a website called instructables.com. Is also another good resource. There are lots of websites out there that you can go to that will teach you, some for free, a lot actually for free. And other two will give you resources that will help you to, let's say, learn how to program, how to make a simple project, tell you how you can even make it from scratch with limited resources. So what I would say is that research is a very key thing. Now, if there are multiple different ways to research, you can go into your schools, you can go into your communities, you can talk to people of higher people in higher places, maybe advocate for them to make more research areas, maybe more places, show how a person can actually go there, encourage building. And I'm happy that Ghana is actually encouraging AI technology so that these people can also have easier access to these resources so that they can pursue their goals. Because it has helped me a lot, even in my thinking, because this just doesn't help the country, it helps the the user or the human as a person, helps the youth as a people, because it teaches them how to think thoroughly, how to think critically. So I think it's very important, and that research is a very good tool and skill to learn if you want to know how to work
Douglas,
with AI and stuff like that.
sorry, Douglas, you
Yes.
have been doing this for a while. I'm curious to know, like, when these young people come to you, what is on their mind? What is driving them to learn these skills? Or if somebody wanted to take on this path, what would you tell them? If parents are confused, they're like, oh, this person is wasting too much time playing with computers, what would you tell them from an instructor's point of view? You've been teaching a lot of young people. I don't know if every single person who comes in has that skill, or they're starting from scratch. So again, there are people who are not familiar with this platform, or what Ella is talking about, doing research. How can you help them?
All right. Thank you so much. Ella is a typical example of what Maker's Place stands for. She has the passion, she had the interest. The mom looked for me because Ella wanted to. She liked to figure out things, and the mom was looking for someone or an organization that can help her grow. And then luckily she came to Maker's Place, and there she is now. She's doing very well, moving from Ghana to the US, and she's doing well even in her class in terms of what she knows. Right. So Ella is a typical example. Audrey and I have been going to schools to talk to them about the need for them to get them into STEM education. And it's been back and forth. But yes, gradually, schools are adapting and accepting what Maker's Place is preaching, that is important for young people to get into it. Now, when parents are thinking about where a place for their children to learn these skills, or children that have keen interest, not all children have the knowledge to be um, have all the knowledge, right? What they know is sometimes they are curious. Some children are curious, others are doing well academically, others are not. But then when it comes to their technical skills, they have it. But then they don't have a place where they can grow it, build it up to be able to realize that, oh, this is my potential, this is what I can do, and this is how I can improve it. That's why Makers Place exists, to support those children. And parents brings their children because sometimes the Saturdays children are at home. What are they doing? This is an important time for them to learn a skill while staying at home on weekends. So on weekends, the parents register their children to come to our innovating space in Accra, a very nice space where they get to use the technology, not just theory, but now whatever theory they've been learning in school, and they get opportunity to do a hands-on thing and get opportunity to also take part in national and international competition. Now, what we are addressing is not only for elite schools or elite children. We are also talking about children in rural and underserved community, where we're doing a lot of advocacy outreach program to help them to also be part of this. Now, the good thing is that as part of the Robotics for Good Youth Challenge, there's going to be robotics and AI training for teachers, and we are targeting 200 teachers. Out of all these 200 teachers, at the end of the training, are going to be given training resources so that they can go back to their schools and continue to expand, set up robotic club, right? Set up robotic club and be able to expand the knowledge and the skills to those young people, and be able to also take part in the Robotics for Good Youth Challenge in 2027. So all these kits will be delivered for free, and there's opportunity for teachers out there to take advantage of this and to be part of it. And this is being sponsored by Google and AI for Good. So it means that this program is also solving the challenge of access, right? So schools that are saying, oh, our school is not endowed, we cannot have access to high-end robotic kits. We cannot learn AI. We don't have curriculum. We don't have trained teachers. There's an opportunity for you. 25th of March, there's going to be a training for teachers, and we are targeting the first cohort. We are targeting 200 teachers. This is happening in Nigeria. Ghana is fortunate to be part of the pilot program. So it's happening in Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, South Africa, um, Kenya, right? And these are good things for people to take advantage of. So teachers are not left behind. Parents who are looking for a place for their children to learn skills. For me, what I say is that these things, we are not saying that they should do it so that they become engineers or scientists, but they should take it as a hobby. Who knows, it may become a career tomorrow. So let them explore. If they have to learn how to swim, they have to learn how to play the piano. On the weekend, let them get into things like this and build their skills as they keep developing as young people.
A quick follow-up before I go to my next question. Do you need special skills to be good at coding, to be good at building robots, to do what you guys do?
No, it's, Ella mentioned that it's a skill. It's not a talent or a gift that is for special people. It's for everyone, right? As far as you can read and write, you should be able to learn how to code. Now, coding has become a basic literacy that if you have a school or you have a child who is 5, 6 years old and they are not getting it to learn how to code, then it's going to be a challenge for them, right? Because students move through the ladder and they get to the university, and this is the first time sometimes they are going to learn how to code. It becomes very difficult for them, right? So we've been doing this for the past 7 years. We've seen children develop and move on to senior high schools and perform better. Others have moved from the university to go to graduate school and all of that, and it's helping them. So if your child is not getting into this technology, as a parent, I think it's important that you encourage them. One, children enter it they venture into this one to play. They think like, oh, it's fun, we need to get into it. But then as they get into it, and it's getting a time will come where they need to start thinking, because coding teaches you how to think, robotics teaches you how to think and solve problems. So when their mind is being challenged, that is when children feel like, oh, it's boring now, I don't want to do it again. This is where they need a parent, they need a school to encourage them that, yes, because you've gotten to a point where you are not doing the basic stuff or the DIY anymore. It's about time that you start to think, you start to research, you start to watch some videos and see what other people are doing and be able to be inspired to do it. That is why we add competition, so that when these children get to the world stage and they meet other children from different countries, they get encouraged to see that, no, it is not only peculiar to me, but there are other people elsewhere who are already getting into this. So we preach global competitiveness throughout our program.
I wanted to go back to the point all of you have touched on it. You talked about this could be a career, this could be a new skill that takes you places, opens up so many doors for you. But there are those people who are concerned out there. For example, the UN and the World Economic Forum warn that there is potential for AI to disrupt jobs that we do, whether it's in banking, in healthcare, the office jobs that we do. Now, for you people who are into this space, how do you prepare young people for that job that doesn't exist?
All right. I would like them to speak and then I'll add up. But if you want me to go
Sure.
forward, I can do that. Okay. I don't believe that AI or robotics or automation is going to take or replace human, right? What it's going to do is it's going to help those who used it to be more efficient and effective, right? So in the future, Yes, you may have a secretary job, but then the one who uses technology will be able to perform more tasks and earn more, because it's now going to be more of a performance-based contract you are going to sign. So, can you deliver the contract? Can you deliver the work on time? So, if you are not using the tools, then what is going to happen is that you are going to delay, and then you are not going to get more money, right? So automatically, if the customer is not happy with what you are doing, your work, because you cannot deliver on time, then they are going to move on to the next person. So those who use the technology are going to be the people who are going to take or lead the future. Therefore, it is not for you to say that, oh, I'm not interested in technology, or it's not for me, or not. You have no option than to get on board, right? We have to encourage young people to start using technology, start using, because they already know. We are talking about Gen Zs who already know how to use devices already. What they need is guidance. So if sometimes parents complain that, oh, my child is always on YouTube, my children are not learning because of the devices we have given to them, and then therefore I'm taking devices from them. The reason being that you've given them devices, you've given them internet, but then you've not shown them what to do with it. Therefore, it has become a TV for them. The laptop has become a TV, the phone has become a TV, and all the gadgets you are giving to them, because you have not given them a sense of purpose. If a child knows that I need to learn how to code to build an app, what will they be going to watch any pornographic movie things on the internet? They will focus on the learning, watching videos, reading books that will help them to develop the app, right? So it's more about changing the pedagogy to make sure that we are focused on problem-based learning that encourages young people to think beyond memorization, right? So AI will not replace you unless you allow yourself, right? Unless you decided not to upgrade yourself, you decide that you're not going to be a learner, but you're just going to learn than to be replaced. But as long as we stay up to date, learning, and being at pace with what technology trends in technology, and I'm not sure we should be afraid of what the WEF is preaching.
How about you, Audrey? Emanuela, is it possible to mute your mic a little bit? There is some feedback coming back. Okay. Uh, Audrey, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with what Douglas is saying. I don't think AI is going to replace. What it's going to do is going to enhance productivity, even in the workplaces and in most companies these days. They are even adapting to these strategies and actually even awarding people who are actually doing these things, who are applying AI in their daily based work. And so I believe that it's just taking advantage of it. And so if you think it's going to, then rather come on board, learn those skills to help automate, your workflow or whatever you're doing. So what would take you like 10 hours to complete, you can finish that in a day and have time to do other things. And so that's what AI is doing, is helping us work smarter and not hard. So gone were the days, it's just phases of life. Initially there were no phones. People had to, walk to get. Now we have mobile phones. We have the internet. It wasn't there, and so this is now the new era we are in. And so it's something we all have to just embrace. How we've just embraced, all previous technologies. And like Douglas said, is knowing the purpose. So what is AI about, and what can it do for us? So once we know the possibilities, it's not just in one sector or just limited to technology. AI, we could see that it could be used in language transcription. So those learning the arts could use AI. Those in the sciences could use AI. In every kind of space, even to beauty, even to health, people are using AI to like know, okay, what would work best for someone with this kind of like features or abilities. So I think AI can be applied anywhere, and no one should fear, can I learn it, or would this take away. It's just how could I know it and apply it to whatever I'm already doing, and that way you're going to get better results and move faster.
Ella, you want to weigh in as well?
Yes. So, what I would also say is that, throughout history, a lot of people have also said that exact same sentence, that, oh, it's going to take jobs away. For example, when electricity came, a lot of people were like, oh, it's going to take the people who wake up people early in the mornings, jobs away. But for me, I say that we still got by, and so it's just better to embrace the AI, as Douglas and Audrey have said, that we should do that more, and we should focus on learning the technology than opposing it, because there have been many, many, many previous technologies that people also opposed, but now they've come to better our lives, just like the way we have light bulbs now in our houses instead of sitting in the dark. That's one thing too I also have to say.
Interesting. We are streaming live on all our social media platforms. This is a different perspectives. For those that just joining us, I'm Paul Ndiho, and my guests tonight are Douglas Aite, founder and CEO of the Maker's Place in Ghana, Audrey Tate, a global ambassador at Women Tech Network, and Emanuela Moses, aka Ella, one of the former students at the Maker's Place. Follow the conversation on Substack, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, and YouTube. Just search Paul Ndiho or different perspectives. And a reminder, applications are now open for the Robotics for Good Youth Challenge in Ghana, taking place March 27th, 2026 at Ghana International School. This national competition organized by the International Telecommunications Union, the Maker's Place, and Google will select Ghana's teams for the global finals in Geneva. Applications are closed February 27th, 2026. Let's continue. Let's go to the teachers. I think it was you, Douglas, who talked about training teachers. What does this mean, especially now with AI? Some students are using AI for papers, for research, and doing all sorts of things. Where do teachers come in?
Okay, thank you. There's a myth that goes around that says that teachers will be replaced. Teachers will not be very useful in the future. I think I differ that you cannot do away with teachers, because if you want to hop on to AI now, you need the fundamentals. You need the fundamentals in your domain, right? So if you are going to use AI for finance, you must have the fundamentals in finance before you can apply AI to it. If you want to use AI in medicine, you must build the fundamentals in that before you can use it. If you want to apply AI in law, you must have the fundamentals before you can apply it, right? Otherwise, you accept whatever is given to you, and then you be ashamed when people read it and they say, "What are you saying?" Because this is not how it's supposed to be, right? So teachers are going to be there. Now we don't say teachers; they are facilitators, right? They are experts in the process. So they are going to be the guide in the future. So so teachers are going to be the guide in the future to help young people, to help learners to be able to identify their potential, to help them to shape their career goals, to be able to realize them. So what we're trying to do is that we don't want to move to an era where, as a service provider, we interface directly with the student, and we are building their competencies in AI, robotics, 3D printing, 3D modeling, and so on and so forth, electronics. And then the teachers are left behind. What is going to happen is that even the teachers will even sabotage the whole process, because if the class teacher is not well versed in the technology and doesn't know how to use computers, and your teacher gives a student an assignment, and the student decides to use Google Docs to submit the assignment, the teacher will not agree to that, right? Because the teacher is not familiar with the technology. Therefore, what I believe we need to do is to make sure that our teachers are not left behind. We need to train them as well so that they can lead the facilitation, because Makers Place, Innovators, and other leading organizations that are supporting young people or championing the advocacy for STEM education and AI across the country, or in the world, cannot do it all, right? Because the teachers are always with the student from morning till afternoon or evening. So we need to empower the existing teachers as well to build their competencies in order to deliver that competencies that we want to see in those or the proficiencies we want to see in those students. Now, the good thing is that as part of training the 200 teachers in Ghana and in all the 5 pilot countries, what is happening is that we are targeting that at the end of training those teachers will go back. So we are training 200 teachers in Ghana and 200 teachers in South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire. Now, all this means that at the end of the day, we'll be training 1,000 teachers. These 1,000 teachers are to set up 200 school clubs across, and then it will lead us to empowering about 20,000 students within this pilot phase. So this is huge numbers we are talking about. So little effect that we are doing, you see that it's going to give us a maximum output from what we are doing. So teachers training is going to be something that if you're a teacher and you are in Ghana and you find yourself in most of these African countries that are being selected for the pilot, you should take advantage of it.
Audrey, how important is it for young ladies like you to be in this space to teach other young people how to do this stuff? Or you, and maybe if I should add, you've gone across the country, going to some of these schools. How much is needed to bring teachers, especially female teachers, into this space so that they can, help empower other young people across the country?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. So it's very, very important. Like if you look at the background of even, engineering and STEM and everything, it was usually not really seen as, a lot of ladies going into it because it's kind of like seeing that, you know, the male, side or the guys, might be more interested or, they are more domineering. But with this, inclusion and, seeing for other young ladies seeing other ladies go in this ladder and doing this, they are more encouraged to kind of like, oh, I've seen this lady do this, so I could kind of do that. And that is also a great thing because in my sphere of like education, there are usually more guys in these areas than the ladies, and so it's a good thing to encourage more ladies and to build ladies. I think more of the thing is usually the maybe they're less confident in the fear of like would others, the guys could do better, but when they see others you do it, they are more encouraged. I believe that training ladies would also be a great thing because now in the workspace it's not just only guys, it's also ladies also. And when we're talking about AI at STEM, we're not just looking at just one particular phase or just one industry. It could be applied in any other thing, like we're saying, in law, in finance, in business. So all ladies in these other aspects could take advantage of the technology and apply it in whatever they are doing. And so I really am happy and I'm encouraged when I see other ladies take part. And with training them, I believe the ladies are good. Once they get the basics, they're able to run with it because overall it's making it interesting, is helping people think what could I do with these skills I'm learning, and it's just by solving some of these existing problems. So it's encouraging the creativity in ladies, and which is a good thing overall.
Uh, Ella, earlier you talked about how you have learned that these skills from the likes of Douglas and others. You go to classes where you run into all sorts of people. There are a lot of young ladies out there who want to be part of this movement. What can they learn from you? How did you get into this? And what are some of the obstacles you've encountered trying to do this?
Okay, so I would say the biggest obstacle I encountered was the fact that I didn't see a lot of girls in my classes. Let me say, I saw majority boys, and you know how boys can seclude themselves and chat with themselves, and then you're here by yourself. So confidence was one thing, community was also another thing. But what I saw was that if you have confidence in yourself, if you believe in yourself, just that confidence alone will attract people to you and help you fit in more into the learning space so that you can also interact with people, learn something, because everyone has something to share. Some people learn from you and you will learn from other people. And I've also learned the coding skills, which are like really beneficial to me. I can't stress on that enough because it has taught me key critical thinking skills, very strong critical thinking skills. So I want all the ladies to know that yes, you can do this. I know you see a lot of guys and it's all the guys who are going into it, but there are ladies there too, that you too, you can also make a difference. Your idea, that somebody doesn't have your idea and it's a lady who has that idea, and she will be the one to actually do it and impact the world, like greatly and optimistically. So I say that all the women, all the girls, go and do it. I believe in you. You got this.
I believe in you too. And Douglas, you've taken a lot of young people to compete globally. You've been in China, you've been here in the United States, you've been everywhere taking these young people to compete at these robotics competitions. Uh, is there like a long-term plan to turn these robots, some of these projects that they work on, into real startups or create jobs for themselves?
All right, thank you so much. Every year we traveling to different countries, as you mentioned, Greece, Geneva, China, and other places. We'll be going to Canada soon. We have a team preparing to go to UK as well. All this is to create an enable environment where young Ghanaians who are from the villages and cities get to find their potentials. And through that, they get to network with other children, other people who are doing amazing things. Now, the thing is that what we are solving is to enable them, to give them that enablement to be able to realize their potential, because we have children, we have students who are creators already, who are innovators already, but they don't have a place, they don't have a guide, they don't have a mentor, they don't have a facilitator or a facility for them to realize this potential. Hence, Maker's Place is that place for that young man, that young woman who have that talent and need that guidance to be able to realize it. Now, in the next 10 years, I tell people that in the next 10 years, a child that is 6 years old who takes our program and parents are consistent, right? What is going to happen is that that child is going to be 16, right? 16 years of, so that it means that that child will have about 10 years of coding. That is amazing. You can imagine, I don't know what you think of, but that 10 years of coding for that young girl who is under the shelter of their parent, right, who is not thinking about what to eat, where to wear, and where to sleep, and now focus on building her skills for the next 10 years. She can create she can invent something that can begin to, if the parent begins to support her, she can have her own startup, right? Because we are supporting or building the next generation of African innovators, scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs, and this is how it starts. So it's a long-term investment, long-term impact that we want to see. So the one who is 10 years old will be 20 years, will be even out of university or will be graduating from the university, may invent something, right? So we also trying to tell people that um, communication, critical thinking, collaboration is one of the forces that we are talking about in the 21st century. And these are some of the things that children begins to learn in the process. Sometimes they are in a hackathon, they are pitching, they are making presentation. All these things is to enable them to find their niche. And that is something that is good for young people. And I think that it should be encouraged by parents, by school owners to see that no, our program is a STEM or STEAM enhancement program that is going to help those young people realize their potential. And therefore, they need to embrace it now so that they are not left behind, as we keep saying.
To your point, and I want all of you maybe to weigh in very briefly. When I've come to Ghana, I've been fortunate enough to crisscross your country. You've taken me to some places. I've come to where you help these young people. But when I've gone across the country, I run into issues like lack of infrastructure, lack of internet, lack of places like the Maker's Place, right? In those rural areas. How are those young people in those areas benefiting from some of these programs, or what can be done to even out that playing field?
Okay, access to digital skills, access to digital tools,
But
right?
how? They don't have
Is
electricity.
everyone's, yes, it's everyone's responsibility, right? Nowadays, we have alternative energy. As far as there's willingness, there's funding, there's support, those children can still be able to learn, right? Because the technology already exists, right? The problem that we are talking about, there's already a solution. All we need is the funding to be able to make those solutions available to those people who critically need this, right? Now, if I take children to competition, I want to address your question. If I take children to competition, winning is one of the things that parents would love to see, and even their children. But then, to me, it's exposure. The exposure is key, because we've taken children right from central region in a village to China, where they have moved from a developing country to a developed country, seeing better infrastructure. When these children begins to talk and you listen to them, why don't we have this? Why is this road so beautiful? Why is, then they begin to ask themselves, how, why is our community, how is our road like this? Then they begin to challenge themselves that way, right? Now, 20 years down the line, or 10 to 15 years down the line, if these children graduate from the university and they get into leadership, and they are supposed to take decision, nobody will come and tell them that three-story building, if you do 56-story building, it will kill you. No, because they've lived in a hotel that is more than 70 floors, right? Because they've seen it. Exposure is one of the key things. But they've seen good railway systems. They've experienced it when they travel with us, right? So when they talk about, they come home and they say, no, we need to have good railway system to network the whole regions in Ghana for fast transportation in order to reduce downtime and all of that. These children really appreciate it, right? In the future, they are going to make that decision to make sure that Ghana is developed. But how did it start? It starts from exposure, and I think that exposure is one of the key things that every child needs. That is why we build Makers Place, to make sure that it is well fit for purpose. It is international standard, even though we are operating locally. We're making sure that every hardware resources that you can find in US or in China or any developed country is within our space, so that the children will not be afraid of the technology, but then they can be the creators of the technology because they know how to use it.
We are almost out of time, but I wanted Audrey and Ella to weigh in as well. There is that genius in a remote place somewhere, but they don't have electricity. What advice would you give them?
So what advice I would give them is, one thing I've also seen is that, you also put in the work and determination, because, I mean, always not everything will definitely work out like to how you want it, but you have to find out, okay, what can I do? Are there, local, is there a local, IT facility or something nearby? Is there, and then, investing into yourself, like, okay, could I go there and then take that time to like learn, So I believe, and also you also playing a role, because people and the government could do everything, but you have to also like put yourself out there. And so one thing I encourage them, wherever it is, keep doing what you're doing. Try to utilize what you have, and if you can connect to any nearby spots where you could that would help you do that. And that way, one way or the other, as you do those, you know, something's someone's going to notice, there's going to be help, and then you're going to see that progression. So
Ella?
Okay. So yeah, I'm not. What Audrey and Douglas both said are good. The yourself, the exposure. But what I also say is, if you can get scraps of any electronic component, anything that could foster electricity, anything at all, just look at it. Even if you can't tear it apart, tear it apart to the core, because that's how I even started noticing electricity. I would break something and I would look inside and I'd be like, oh, this looks very cool. I would, even if you don't have any education, try and reason how this thing could work, or at least imagine how it works and look at it. So I would say tinkering will be your will be should be one of your best friends. Find something, break it apart, look at it, and I think that will help you very much.
Okay, very briefly, we're almost out of time, but I would be remiss if I did ask you about this program long term. Obviously, Ghana is pushing this, but is there regulation? Uh, as there are some people who say they should have regulation before all this uh, is put in place. There are those people who say, wait a minute, we should stay away from regulation, let the thing play out, and we'll figure out things as they move forward, right? From where you guys stand, how important is regulation, especially when we are talking about AI and the potential disruption of jobs and everything that we know AI can do?
All right, so I'll answer it this way. If you if there's a box somewhere sitting at somewhere, and people you start putting regulation and say that nobody should touch the box, but then you are asking people, can you figure out what is inside the box? But then you are putting guardrails to prevent people from exploring to understand what is there. But then you are asking them questions about the things that they don't know, because you can only know it when you discover it, when you explore to discover, right? So I think that we shouldn't be rushing into setting up regulations to guardrails to prevent people, because the majority of the people who will not even dare. One, they don't want to do it again, and two, you are setting up guardrails. Don't do it this way. Don't do it that way. Even they don't even understand what you said they shouldn't do. Right. So we shouldn't be, Africa as a developing country should not be quick to set guardrails to prevent people from exploring, to understand what technology is all about. We should rather encourage them to discover, because when they discover, right, when they discover, that is where the understanding comes from. But we shouldn't be at the forefront of setting guardrails to say that don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. A lot of people will end up even not even daring or attempting it at all. And we will end up 10 years, 20 years down the line to ask young people, why is Africa not developed? Why are we not, why are we becoming consumers of technology? When in at home, we don't want our children to touch the phone. We don't want them to, even when they take the TV, they want to go closer to the TV, say, hey, they know, stop, you destroy it, right? You kill all this curiosity. Children are being beaten because they've opened something to figure it out, right? And at the end of the day, we expect them to be genius when they have not even tinkering, they've not even explored anything. So I think we should be moderate on the guardrails and allow young people to explore. I think that way we'll be able to understand the technology, because one, we are not the inventors of the technology. So our only bet is to explore it deeply to be able to discover what is in within, what it's made up of.
Very briefly, Audrey.
same thing. Do agree with Douglas. I feel like we should give people the opportunity to know what it is, and then from there we can not necessarily put people, but based off their knowledge, then let them use that for good. And that's why, we have this initiative, AI for good, not for other things, but to see how we could solve problems. So letting people know and then seeing how they can apply this into their daily lives.
You have the last word, Ella.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to touch up on what Douglas and Audrey said, that we should be careful and we should take our time putting guardrails, because we'll just discourage people from doing it. Somebody say, "Oh yeah, then I don't want to do it anymore since it's so difficult." And we need to know what the problem is before you can actually figure out a guardrail. So best to explore and then make the regulation. That's what I would say. So that's just my take.
I will end this on a very funny note. Where I come from, there is a saying that curiosity killed the cat. I guess we'll leave it there. We'll continue to monitor.
I think we need to
this.
change it.
Eh?
Sorry, I think these are some of the adage that prevent young people from realizing their potential. I think some of these things should not be, we shouldn't encourage it within our communities and things, right? Because if you say curiosity kills the cat, then I don't want to be curious. But the word now is about curiosity. Ella is who she is today because she's curious. She's always ready, willing to figure it out, right?
Right.
Okay. Audrey is where she is today because she's figuring things out. So if she's not curious, then I'm not sure she's going to get to where she is now, right?
Okay. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. I would love to keep you guys going. We'll leave it there. Stick around. A big thank you to all my guests tonight: Douglas Aite, Audrey Tete, and Emanuela Moses, aka Ella. We'll continue to monitor this ambitious plan Ghana has put in place to our viewers. Thank you. And of course, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to me, Paul Ndiho, on Substack, X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. We'll see you on the next episode of Different Perspectives. For now, so long from Washington. And to my guests, a big thank you so much. Stick around for a minute, okay?